Hey YouTube family, welcome back guys. So today we've got a video on the Series 2 red R33 GTST. We're going to change up the look of the car a little bit today. We're going to change the wheels. We're going to put a Series 2 Type M front lip on it. It is a copy made by JSAI, very good fiberglassing company in Sydney. I do highly recommend. We've got the parts just sitting over there. I don't know if you can see. We've got our new set of wheels as well. I'll show you guys in a second. We're going to lower the car as well. I'll show you guys how to lower your normal coilovers like BCs, and the same concept should apply on most coilovers as well. We'll change the wheels. And yeah, I want to show you guys what we got. Come with me. Here's our Series 2 Type M lip. These are our fresh wheels. Let's transform this puppy. Let's go. So we've given our wheels a wash. They're looking gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the difference on camera, but have a look at this. Wow, honestly, I'm still tossing and turning about it, but we won't know unless we try, guys. So enough side quests, let's get to it. Let's pack up the driveway and put the Skyline in the bay. Oh, and if you're wondering what's up with the glove, don't touch a hot turbo. Yeah, so it's straight on the back of the housing. So I don't want to show you guys, it's an ugly blister. Let's go. We've got a bit of an exhaust rattle down there. We'll fix that up. We'll get the exhaust raised up as well, because we will have a problem once we lower it up, so we can go extra low, because there's no point for the exhaust to sag like that. All right, so now we're gonna whack the Series 2 lip on. We're gonna jack up the car, take off the wheels so we can access the back of the bumper bar, so we can mount our lip on properly. Pull these wheels off. We're gonna put on our fresh S15 stockies. Now, with the 33 stockies, they were designed for the Series 1 shape, which is a very smooth shape. And the S15 stockies were designed for a chassis which is more sharper, has more sharper features. So I do believe that the S15 stockies should suit the Series 2 pretty nicely, as there was like a 4 or 5 year gap between the Series 1 and Series 2, and they didn't end up changing the wheels. So I do think it should work pretty nicely. Those Series 1 wheels do suit a very smooth chassis. I don't know if you guys know, but they did use those wheels on the Nissan Maximas as well. I'll put up a photo as well. So if you are after a set of 33 stockies, try find them off a Nissan Maxima. It's the exact same rim, and they did share it on the S14 as well. But they're more of a smooth chassis. So we'll whack these wheels on, and yeah. All right, enough yapping, let's get cracking, let's go. Look at that for a finish. So now that we've got our front lip on, what we want to do is make sure that these lines on the bumper bar match up on both sides, and that this line here matches along the sides as well. So as you can see here, this side, that needs to come up just that little bit there. All right, so we've got our 2 screws through here. We've pretty much just held this and then tapped it through so we can get a nice and tight fitment. Now we'll hit the other side. I actually done that, but I forgot to press record. Well, I thought I pressed record, but turns out I didn't. So I'll show you on this side. Pretty much what we need is our self-tapper screws, little Phillips head, flat on the top. And we've got our little drill bit tip on the end. So these will pretty much just go straight through plastic, fiberglass and metal, but only thin sheets of metal. So we'll use those and we'll whack it up. This is nice and tight, so we don't have to hold this one while we drill it. Alright, what we're going to do, we're going to tape it up and try to force it as close as we can to the bumper bar, and then we'll drill it from underneath, and hopefully that pressure keeps this up against the bumper bar. So yeah, alright, let's get this lined up. Now, so for lining up, we've still got maybe like a little fingernail gap there, but unless I'm willing to drill through that, which I'm not, I'd rather just leave that there. It's pretty even, but like for a snap-on fit front lip, I'd honestly say you could pop that on, not put any screws on the side, and you could drive that on and it wouldn't come off. That's how nice and tight fitting JSI got the mold. I have bought this mold from other companies before. A lot of them are like overseas manufactured, and they've got pinholes throughout. They don't sit very well. They have to be flattened. So I'll definitely give this front lip from JSI a good like 9 out of 10 for fitment and quality and finish. Didn't give the painter any hard time when he was prepping it. Yeah, JSI, I'll put the link there for their company. Very good stuff. It really brings out the whole profile of the car so nicely. And I wasn't too sure if it worked with the GDR pods, but like I'm really frothing it now. Look at that. Could only just imagine when it's buried on the S15 stockies with that front lip. Enough yapping, let's get cracking, boys and girls, let's go. I think maybe the best way to do this, obviously because we've got a new front lip on the car and I don't want to damage the lip, what we'll do, we'll put the stockies on the front. I'll leave the right height so we can measure the front. When we put the backs on, that's when I'll show you guys quickly how to lower the back of the coilovers. We are running out of daylight, so you'll obviously see it in about a couple minutes when it's the next day. But we'll lower the back today and then we'll go over, redo the front tomorrow. All right, let's go. Probably going to go back to the factory wheel nuts, factory chrome ones, just to really pop the wheels and give it that factory look. But we'll reuse these ones for now. I don't know, mixed emotions. Let's get the back slammed. That might change our mind. All right, so now that we've exposed the coilover, what we want to do is measure the threads, however many centimeters that we raise the base of the coilover up the threads is how much we'll drop the car. So I reckon we'll go about this much. What we want to do is spray this so it's nicely lubricated, crack this open, unbolt it from the bottom, push this off, turn this key up, turn the base up, we'll raise the hub and then we'll bolt the coilover back on, nip that up, tighten that up, and what will happen is the whole hub assembly will actually be sitting up higher because the coilover is holding it up higher without messing with the spring rates. The spring rates will be still set the same, and with your coilover you want to make sure that your spring is sitting up nice and like tight enough up against the top, not too compressed and not too loose, or else you have a rubbish drive. So yeah, let's get this lubricated and crack this ring. Now I ran out of WD-40, so I'm just going to improvise and use window cleaner. Typical, but yeah, you should be using WD-40, but it's a bit too late to go to the shops. So we're just going to give this a spray and we're going to wipe off any of the debris which are stuck in between the threads. The threads still look pretty healthy, so it doesn't need WD-40 to loosen it up, but we just want to make sure that we're not turning the key through all the little rocks and dusties that are in the threads. Just to show you. All right, so now let's measure up how much we have of thread. All right, so now we just gave it a measure. We've got about 190 millimeters worth of thread. The base is only about 170 mils long, but we should still have plenty of room to lower it. So what do you reckon? I reckon we slam it. Let's drop it 70 mil and then we'll work from there. So what we want to do, this is the bottom key. We want to crack this, so we'll smack it. Oh, that was loose. And now what we're essentially doing is just turning this and avoiding that the little sprocket there. So we're just pushing it away from that just gently. And I'm just spinning this up. Let's see how far up we can go. It's all about being buried, boys. Not half-assing it around here. Got to get rid of those walnuts, but I don't like them one bit. What do you reckon if we put white walls on it? Like a little white wall, do you reckon that will look tacky? Alrighty, so we've pretty much maxed this out. So as you can see, it gets to a certain point and that's it. That's as tight as it goes. It just starts spinning the shaft in the middle. So what we'll do, we'll keep that there on max. Now we can turn the base and line that up to this part here. Now you can see the difference already. That's how much higher it will pretty much be. So it should sit this much lower. I'll nip up the nut, whack that back in. We need to jack this part up actually. I might have gone a little bit too stupid with the lowering, but all right, let's see how it goes. I'm so keen to see how it's gonna look. I reckon it's gonna be too slammed, but there's no such thing as too slammed, boys and girls. So what we want to do, jack this up from the lower control arm to the point where this just slides in with ease. And then we get our bolt, just whack it in there. Now when we release this, that's where our wheel's gonna sit. Jeez. That's gonna be buried. We wanna make sure that we tighten up our locking key. So we just smack it the other way. Make sure our bottom nut is tight. That's good. Now I'll put the wheel on. That's so dope. I feel like that's going to be slammed when it's on the ground, especially with the extra weight on the back. That's going to look wicked. I'm liking it a lot more on the back than I am on the front. Looks so much better on the back than it does on the front, but I think it's because we need to lower the front a little bit more. All right, guys, I'm going to blast out this side and then I'll drop it down. I'll give you a quick sneak peek, then I'll show you in the daylight when it's the next day. But for you guys, it'll only be like 10-20 seconds. So oh my goodness, that's buried. All right, so there you have it. There's a quick little sneak peek. In a couple of seconds, you'll see it's the next day and I'll give you a better look around. I'll start packing up everything and I'll see you in a second. Peace. Alrighty guys, welcome back. Day 2 of the R33 GDST. So let me show you how nice it looks slammed now. Look at that, she is tucking. So super happy with that. The fronts, we are gonna have to calculate a good length just to drop it, maybe about this much. We'll probably go like a finger and a half, enough so the front lip is still safe. We're gonna do a few little extras today as well. I'm gonna show you guys how to buff the headlights, get rid of this yellowing. I know they're pretty decent quality, these Series 2 lights, but it will work whether your headlights are super yellow, really hazy. The same concept works whether it's in really good condition or it's really, really, really poor. We are gonna do the AC fan under the bonnet. So generally when they put a front mount in, let me unlock the car and I'll show you. Normally, we're supposed to have an AC fan, which goes here in between the front mount and the AC condenser, and it slips in between there. But because of its thickness, normally when people put front mounts in, they remove the clutch fan. Now, I'll show you guys how to slightly modify one so it will fit with a front mount intercooler, because your aircon still will work without the fan, but not for a very long time and not on hot days, and it can blow the pressure switch on the canister here, so it can blow that if this isn't staying cool. So we're going to put that back in as well, buff the headlights, readjust the front height. I really don't like the look of these wheel nuts on the stock wheels. They stick out way too much, and I think it takes your eye off the silver and like the stock smooth finish off the stockies, so definitely going to sort that out. Let's get cracking on some final little touches on the Skyline. And as well, we'll fix the handbrake too. As you can see, that's really sloppy. So we'll sort that out as well and give it a tighten too. Alrighty, so now we're going to whip these wheels off and we're going to start on the coilover. It looks like it might start raining soon, so let's hope we can smash out as much as we can. Now what we want to do, we want to unlock this bottom key and turn this down, and we want to try to turn it down a finger gap. So to unlock it, we got to smack it this way so it's going anti-clockwise. We're going to measure this side because the other side we pretty much bottomed out the base of the coilover, so we know it's going to be even both sides. But because of this one, I don't think we'll be bottoming out. We'll measure the difference on how much each side, so when we do lower it, it will be nice and even. All right, so we've got 60 mils. We want to go a finger gap, so we're going to go about 50 mil. Okay, maybe we're better off unbolting the bottom coilover and we'll just turn the base up. So now we've got easy access and we can raise the base up. Let's double check what our gap is now. We go 5 more mil. It's about here. So all we've done is pretty much lift the base and slide this on. Now give it a bit of a wiggle. Our washer and our nut. Tighten this up. Now we lock the bottom key in. And we are officially lowered, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's do the other side. That's at 50. Wiggle this up. It's on there. Washer. Clockwise. All right, now moment of truth. Let's see how low she goes. Nah, I reckon still needs to go lower. Okay, so from the ground to the fender, both wheels are at about 620. So we might want to go another finger down, I reckon. It is starting to rain, or lightly sprinkling, so I'm going to try to smash it out and I'll leave this on. All right, so we're going to go to about 40 mil on this side and see where she sits, boys. This is the most important part, like getting your ride height right, or else it just looks silly, or it's got the capabilities to look wild, but unfortunately you didn't slam your car enough. So we went down to about 37.5 just to be a bit generous. So let's see how this goes. RIP to the new lip, boys. Nice. What do you reckon? So much better now. Now it's like you put a finger in and you just touch the top of the tread. so it doesn't look buried, but it's still like presentable and sporty. I like that. I can't wait to see it on the ground. Let's do the other side. So we met at about 37.5 mil. So let's go. So all in all, we've taken off about 22.5 mil, being that we had 60 mil worth of thread to play with, and we've ended at 37.5 mil on that side. So all in all, dropped it by 22.5 mil. Not bad, which is about 2 and a bit centimeters. Moment of truth. Yeah, nice. Damn. She is sitting low. All right, so there's the wheels on. I definitely think it looks a lot better on the S15s now that the car's lowered, because S15s are a bit lower to the ground compared to a Skyline. So I think now that we don't see this wheel gap, I reckon now it looks so much better. Obviously these wheel nuts are, they're an eyesore, realistically. Having the factory look chrome ones where you can't see the stud would be super neat. Now that that's done, let's get in the engine bay. Thankfully it hasn't started raining yet, and we'll start on this AC fan. We'll do some trimming and get it to fit. All right, let's go. Okay, so this is our AC fan. And this is the main plug where it plugs into. Now the idea of your AC fan is to cool down your condenser when it's obviously pressurizing and whatnot from the AC gas. Now this is very important to have if you're running AC on a hot day as well, and even just generally, even on a normal cool day, you should always have your AC condenser at the right temperature. So I'll show you guys as well how it doesn't fit and how we're going to make it fit. So now it's got to go into there. All right, and we've got this big ass bracket as well, which is going to be in the way. All right, so we've got to deassemble this bracket. All right, let's start deassembling this area here, and then we'll line up our AC fan and we'll modify the bracket accordingly. Let's go. Oops. All right, so that still doesn't fit. So we are going to have to deassemble this section here. So we've got 2 bolts up the top and we've got 1 bolt at the bottom, and this is the brace which holds up your bonnet latch. So we need to undo the bottom one as well to get this out the way. That would be a 12 mil. We can either reach up from the bottom or we can jack up the car. So I'm going to try to attempt it from the bottom. If not, we'll jack it up. We've got our 12 mil ratchet spanner. We're going to attempt to get it from the bottom. Bottom bolt out. So now we've got all this extra room. We can put the clutch fan back in now. But what we need to do, I'm just doing this to show you, is to trim this knob part down. As you can see, it's making contact right there. And possibly one of the mounts, we'll pull this back out and we'll trim this section here. Alright, so now what we have to do is chop this section here and get that nice and flat. I think it goes here on this side. Let's undo this bolt. Now we need to do the 2 bolts underneath. So we'll go from underneath, mount 2 more 10 mils up, and that's our AC fan in. And then we'll have to just realign the front mount intercooler to a spot where she sits up. It's nice and sturdy. So now that we've got our AC fan in, we're going to start with the bottom brackets for the front mount, and we'll go from the bottom, we'll mount that up, and then we'll do these top brackets. We'll see whether we make something else or rebend them in a certain way to clear, because as you see, that's now not going to clear the AC fan, but I'd rather modify this than remove this. And as you can see, it still fits, but yeah. Most importantly, that slot there, I've seen some of the front mounts catch that. So we just cut more than necessary and everything else seems pretty snug. We'll bend this into place and then we'll mount it up to here. So we'll make a rough one about there. Alright, and now we'll mark our new bracket. Chase, I've been on a run, I'm a run no matter what state I'm in. Every time the baseline hit, I just fade to black to make it back to state some facts. From the cake I spin to the late night shit, I ain't holding back. Heard from the grapevine, y'all trying to take mine. Now you in the cage with a gain. We've been at this for a long time. From the dark side. Alright, we needed to do the bottom one first. Now we do the top 2 just to make sure that the bottom was lined up. Now let's give our new bracket another lick of paint. Just like Dusty's. So now that we've got our freshly painted bracket, we're going to line this one up, tuck it back under here. Let's get this bolt in. We've got our fresh bracket in there. I've scuffed the paint a little bit since it's been painted, but generally the idea is so it doesn't stand out too much. We've got our fat bracket there, this one made here. At least we've got our AC fan in now, that's all mounted. This is mounted, we've done the 2 top bolts and the bottom bolt down there. We've got our bracket on down below and the other one on the other side, and look how sturdy that is. Can't go wrong. It's got to have a bit of movement obviously because the engine's going to flex, the silicone joiners are going to flex, but that's pretty damn good. While this was out, I've just gone and lined up the headlights a little bit better, hence why it was a little bit harder to get that bolt in. As you can see, the headlights are tired, so we'll finish it all off tomorrow. We'll do the headlights, we'll do the handbrake tomorrow, we'll pack it up. We are losing daylight, so we'll save this all for tomorrow. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. Alright guys, welcome back, day 3. So now we're doing the final touches on the Skyline. I've made a separate video on buffing the headlights. As you can see, it's glowing just that little bit more. So we'll rip that just a little bit more. Get as much of the yellow off the headlight as possible. Alright, that's our 2000 wet rub done. They were already in pretty decent condition, but that one quick wet sand, quick buff, definitely gave it some more life, as you can see. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over the handbrake inside the car. It is a bit sloppy. As you can see, the handbrake, and like, so you can push it down and it's sort of wobbling. So we're going to pull off the center console and investigate what's back here and sort this out. We'll check under the dash as well, and we'll try get the AC vents turning, because I think there is a wire back there which turns some actuators which open and close certain vents on the dash, like these ones here and these ones here, that switch between those. So once we do that, then we're pretty much sorted for the aircon. Then we'll just have to give it a fresh gas. We've also got to swap out that window switch on the passenger side. I do have a spare in the garage. We'll swap that out as well. That's one last little nitty gritty thing that needs to be done too. Let's get this handbrake freed up. So we'll need to access that by taking the ashtray out. We'll have one screw here. We'll get the gear knob off. Now this is freed up. We need to pop this out. Once we pull that there, that should come out. We'll just keep that there to the side. We need to get this one out and this one. So now that we've got those two bolts out, our center console's free from there. Normally there's supposed to be a screw here and a screw on the other side there, but there's none there, so we're pretty good just to remove it. Okay, so now we've got access to our handbrake assembly. As you can see, someone's made an aux connection. Oh yeah, right. One screw here, and that wasn't in the slot. And now that was making this assembly wobble around. So we want to drop it down to a point where it lines up and then get the screw in. But what we need to do is make sure our bolt fits and that the threads aren't damaged. Beautiful. So now our handbrake isn't slopping up and down, and thankfully the threads weren't damaged. That's a first. We'll need that to clip back into here so it's in our factory position. Okay, so now that that's done, there's an adjuster right here for our handbrake. This pretty much tightens the cable and loosens it. So what we want is for our handbrake to be tight at about here, but we've got all these extra clicks which get it up to about here. That's where we want it to be tight, but it can go all the way up here. We'll get a extended 8mm. We'll nip that up. It was a 10mm. So what we're going to do is drop the handbrake down. We'll put it on tighten and we'll just nip it up. And as we nip it up, you can see this cable is moving closer. So now we give it a try. Oosh, that is very tight. Beautiful. Maybe we'll back it off one click. We want to see it back off, so we're going to go lefty loosey so she pulls back in. Let's give that a try. That's nice. We got that little bit of engagement there before that's up there nice and tight. We can go maybe one click tighter. Alright, we'll go one click. Beautiful. Yeah, that's a nice handbrake. Beautiful. That's our handbrake sorted. So we'll now put all this back up. Probably run this wire to the glove box possibly. Alright, so while we've got this out, I thought I'd just give it a quick vacuum. Got our center console drying off. I'll give it a quick wipe before we're done. But I just thought, just to get rid of all this little crud and grot stuck like in these little wells, quick hose while it's out because it won't be out again for a long time, and give it a quick vacuum before we chuck it back in. Alright, so now that we've got our freshly cleaned center console, let's sort out these wires. I believe this one has got to be chopped. That goes to nowhere. Tape it up. Don't know what that does, so we'll just tuck her up and she can go in the MIA corner. Alright, that will be for the AUX. Now this is for CarPlay. What we can do is we'll unscrew this glove box. So now that we have our lid off, we can put our old school AUX wire through. Right, so that's through there. And we can put our Android Auto cord through. Now that we have those through, we'll screw our lid back on, put our handbrake through. Now that we double check our handbrake, yep, that's nice and tight. We've got our leather, we'll chuck that on last. Put our screws in. We'll put our gear boot surround back on. Put our final screw back into here. Our gear knob. We'll put our factory lighter back in. And now the old gear boot and the new one. So I'll throw that out. We'll unclip this. Wicked. So that's that for the handbrake now. Now we've got our fresh leather on. We've sorted out our wires. We've got our Android Auto, our old school AUX cord, and we've got our Apple CarPlay over here in the glove box. Okay, so now we've got a problem with our window switch. This is our second-hand sparey that we got. It already sounds better when I'm clicking it compared to this one. It's like it's got slack. So I'll show you guys what it does. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, we'll put both windows up. It works. We'll put it down, but it doesn't go up. So what we'll do, we'll pop this out. And now that's not enough to expose the wire to unplug that passenger side window switch. So let's start pulling off the door card gently. We'll need a clip remover, a Phillips head, and that's about it. Let's go. Okay, so we've got a Phillips head screw here. Always got to make sure to take out the pocket. That there. We've got to remove the surround from the door handle. Gently just pry around it so we can free it up. We don't want to put too much pressure on just one corner because this is a very fragile part. Now what we'll do, we've got a couple of screws down here. And we've got another one in this corner here. So there's 3 on the bottom. Yep, there's one more as well here. And that was the final one. So all in all, 3 on the bottom, 1 in here, 1 in the pocket, and she should be ready to come out. Then we have the one over here as well. That normally isn't there. Oops. So now what we'll do, we'll unclip the surround. So that's freed off now. Our new switch. Hopefully this works. Up, down. Beautiful. And now we just rinse and repeat to get the door card back on and the window switch back up. Beautiful. So now we've got a working passenger side window switch. Now let's have a look underneath the dash and see if we can find any wire that's loose, something that will stop the vents from swapping over. Alrighty, so now it's time to check out the AC controls. Now pretty much what's happened is that when we use the AC climate control unit, it doesn't switch over the vents. So for instance, we'll turn her on and I'll show you. So we go mode and it doesn't swap over. So if we go here, we can't feel it, but it's only stuck at the back. Now we'll have a look under here. Now this is our actuator box. I noticed that there was this wire here which was unplugged. So I'm not too sure if this is going to work, but we'll plug that back in there. Okay, still no luck. As you can see, we had this plug which was just chilling there. That wasn't plugged into anything. So we plugged it into there, but this plug here belongs to the mode door actuator, which controls these three to open and close the vent. So that's gonna pretty much wrap us up for the day. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Next video we'll end up getting an actuator. I'll bolt it on. I don't know, let me know if you guys want to see that. But all in all, the aircon's working. It switches from hot to cold, and the air compressor comes on now that we've got the fan in there as well, so that will stay on there. I think that the hot and cold actually wasn't working before because that plug was undone, so it's good at least we got that plugged in now. But yeah, so we'll get a blend door actuator, mode door actuator, there's plenty names for it. Whack that in, get the aircon working. Yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for hanging out. Peace, love you all, YouTube family. You know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, we're almost done with this car, so get ready for the next project coming up soon, guys. Laters.